For today's big idea, is just a real simple concept. Wars are won by small victories. Wars are won by small victories. So if you think about history, right? Whenever you see like these big conflicts, you don't really see one single skirmish kind of being the end of it. There's always a series of battles that then add up to victories or not victories, or like for instance, sports. Okay, so you touch you get a score, you get a point, and then the game's over. Well, no, then you got to keep playing because your opponent's going to try and get a score, and then you're going to try and get a score, and it's going to be back and forth like that. So the idea here is that wars are won by small victories, and the same is true when you're dealing with your own situations or addictions. You're gonna find that you will get to victory with small. You're gonna get to winning, to success by having smaller victories. Okay, so for instance, you look at you've been looking at porn for years. It seems like you'll never get out of it. That's the war. Okay. Then we think, I'm going to conquer it all. And one day, right now, I'll never mess up again. And a lot of times our prayers go along somewhere along the line of this: God, look how good I am. God, I promise I'll never do it again. Or something like that. And it's just unhelpful. It might be genuine. I'm not trying to ridicule you. I'm not trying to make you feel stupid. It's just you're holding yourself up to a look at my perfection, and you're asking God, look at my perfection, rather than God, forgive me for my weakness. If you didn't need God, then why are you even praying to God in the first place, right? Because, hey, you've got your whole thing figured out. See what I mean? Looking at porn for years and then thinking, I'm going to win this. Well, how are you going to win it? By small victories. You're going to win your battle with looking at pornography by winning small victories. Okay, so look at this. Okay, when you are about to look at porn, start a timer and delay it for 5 minutes. That's doable, right? 5 minutes. You can stop. You can wait to look at porn for 5 minutes, right? I'm not telling you to don't look at porn. I'm just saying 5 minutes delay looking at porn. Now you might say, now hold on. That's not good enough. That's not holy enough. That's not righteous enough. You have to stop looking at porn. How are you going to get from here to there? I'm just going to stop. Okay, well, you go ahead and just stop. In the meantime, after a year and a half of your just stopping failing, maybe take a look at what's a better, more tactical option. Starting the ball rolling. I've talked in another video about building momentum, and it's that kind of an idea. Delayed gratification, rather than going from gratification to no gratification, go from gratification to delayed gratification. Gratification to narrow gratification. Gratification to, see what I mean? And you can define it, and not define, but narrow your pleasure until you're able to stop it. It's easier to stop water that's only trickling out than it is when there's a full force behind it. I mean, like for instance, if a fireman hooks one of his hoses up to those water hydrant things, full on, it's going to be really hard. You can't walk into that. I mean, they even use that for rioting. They have the strong hoses for rioting. You can't get to that strong of a burst of power. But if it's a water gun, you can get through that. See what I mean? So narrow it, and once you've narrowed it, you can have victory. See, because this war will be won by these small victories. Okay, so that's doable. That's in the realm of possibility. I can wait 5 minutes before I look at porn, right? Doesn't that make sense? So okay, wait 5 minutes before you do. And then eventually you can wait 10 minutes. And then eventually you can say, okay, I won't look at this kind of porn. 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 I'll only look at this kind of porn. So you can narrow it. Because what happens with addictions is you always want more, 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 more. And addiction kind of goes like this. Here you are. You get a high from it, but then you reach a low. So you do it again to try and reach a high, but each time it gets a little bit less of a high, to where eventually you're not even where you were originally, and you get caught in this realm of doing it over and over again and never feeling any gratification from it, or just minor gratification, that kind of stuff. So if you want to learn how to stop it, you have to learn how to delay it. Okay. Or let's take depression. So you've been dealing with depression for years. You feel like you haven't made any headway? First off, is that actual reality? Because with depression, you're going to feel and think things that really aren't true, and you have to decide, no, that's not true. And you have to tell yourself what to think and what to feel, because you can't really trust what you're actually thinking and feeling. Your heart will just mislead you. Oh, nobody loves me, everybody hates me, and the truth is, no, you just feel like people do because you're going through depression. You're not seeing the situation clearly. Okay, so okay, I wake up, I'm crushed today. I'm overwhelmed by my depression. I can't do this day. Okay, all right. Take a step back. Take a nice calm breath. Let's just get out of bed for today. Okay. So you don't feel good. That's all right. It's all right. Let's just get out of bed. Okay. Well, now that you're out of bed, let's just take a shower. Go get yourself cleaned up. You might feel better. Maybe you won't. But that was a victory. You had a small victory. And when you continually push yourself to, even though I don't feel like it, I'm still going to get out of bed. I'm still going to take a shower. Eventually, you start building up this habit. Your habit is to rise above now. Not overnight. It takes time. But eventually, that's what your habit becomes. We think we have to go from 0 to 10. Doing nothing to doing everything. But that's not really how life works. And it's not really healthy to be operating at 10 all the time. You'll just wear yourself out. Do your best and everything, but remember that everybody needs a little bit of a break too. So, you don't have to go from 0 to 10. Dwell around the realm of 5. Not wearing yourself out all the time, but maybe living a little more balanced life. So 0 to 10, that's not really how life works. We can't be where it took. Okay, so think about where your parents are now. And it's taken them all their married life, plus before they were married, to get to this point. And so you're looking at the finished product and you're saying, I want to be where they are now. I want to have a house like they have. I want to have a nice car like they have. I want to have this like they have. They've been working for this for years. You can't be where it took them 30 years to get to. Or let's say you're starting a business. You can't be spread out across America, and I believe other places as well, like, for instance, Walmart is. Because you're just starting out. Businesses have life cycles, and you have to take that into account. When you see that you start reaching your peak and kind of dying out, you have to revive the business, that kind of stuff, over and over again. You can't be where Walmart is after years of takeover when you're just a mom and pop shop. I mean, you got to give yourself time. That's how the real world works. Think about band recognition. You start a band, who's this band? And then the next stage, get me this band, whatever your band name is. Then the next stage, get me a cheaper that band, whatever it is. Then get me a younger that band, whatever it is. Let's say your band's name is Rush. Who's Rush? Oh, hey, get me Rush. Get me a cheaper Rush. Get me a younger Rush. So I mean, band recognition, it takes time. It takes time. I believe it was Mark Twain. I'm not positive about it. I believe it was Mark Twain, who, when he started, or maybe it was either Mark Twain or Charles Dickens, I forget which, so sorry, who, when they were writing, when they were alive, their books really didn't do well. And then after they died, then they got popular. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Sometimes it just takes time. You don't have to go from 0 to 10. You don't have to say, okay, I have decided to work on this, so now I have to have absolute victory. Get there in stages. Small victories make the war what's different, okay? So don't expect to conquer in a day what has conquered you for years. It's you might say something along the lines of this, well, it's different now. I want to quit. I want to change. Well, that's good, but a desire without a consistent plan will always meet with failure. It's not enough to want to do the right thing. You have to plan for it. Because there's the thing, you might not feel like it tomorrow. What happens when you mess up? What happens when you don't feel like doing it? Are you still going to do it even though you don't feel like doing it? See, there's a whole different mindset that goes along with that. So change is gradual. It's something that happens. For instance, the American natives came over on a land bridge, but then after they got here, the temperatures started changing drastically, went up a lot, and what happened was it actually killed off a lot of the plants and animals because from getting out of that ice age, and so the different things that were here changed drastically because the plant life couldn't be sustained with the warmer global temperatures. Much like something that's probably happening now. There was no clear explanation as to why that happened, just that it did. We don't know. Maybe it's happening again. Maybe it will happen again. I don't know. It's a very complicated issue, but I'm not trying to get sidetracked. Sorry about that. Moral of the story being, it took it a while for it to change. As the temperatures went up, that land bridge went away. The glaciers where they were on the west coast aren't there anymore. The plants and animals changed. It didn't happen overnight. They didn't just wake up in one day and say, "Wow, it's a lot warmer." It was a gradual process, and that's how the world works. Change is gradual. It took the span of years. So the big idea here, wars are won by small victories. Wars are won by small victories. Psalm 126:5 says this: "Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy." I don't feel like doing it, but I'm going to do it anyways. It's hard, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to stick with it. I don't feel like it today. I'm still going to do it. Depression is crushing me today, but I'm going to take this little victory today. I'm just going to have a little victory today. I'm going to keep going. I'll take a break afterwards, but then I need to have a victory today. And so how can I put this into action? Let's look at this. Okay. First off, don't feel embarrassed. Oh, I'm so pitiful. Stop that. Just stop it. Constantly talking down to yourself, to others, and to yourself, it just doesn't help anything. It's unhelpful. It's not producing anything. I don't know if you just want people to feel sympathy for you, which you will never succeed if all you want is sympathy from others, or if you just hate yourself, in which case forgive yourself and move on. Life is a lot more than just look at all the terribleness I've done. Well, get over it. Get over it. I mean, it's not all about you. Just learn to move on. Learn to let it go. But the thing is, when we hear something like that, well, you just don't know what it's like to be me. If anybody else went through what I went through, they'd be dead. Well, that's fine. Whatever. Believe whatever you want to believe. But then take all that nonsense, all that self-loathing, and throw it out the door and keep moving on. Because you have much more potential than when you're reaching through by just whining about your situation, whining about you. Oh man, I just hate me so much. So learn to like you. Change into a person that's a better person that you will like. Do something, but don't sit around and complain about yourself. Anyways, so whatever your things, don't feel embarrassed. Take a step. Take a step today. Just take a step in the right direction. And a lot of times we'll say, but I can't. So find something you can do, and then take that step. I can't do this. Okay, fine. Let's say hypothetically you really can't do that, and it's not just your negative talk in your head. Then find something you can do. Okay? So anxiety. I can't go out of state. I can't go to the next city. Okay, fine. Go outside and walk out for 5 miles, or walk halfway to the next city, or drive halfway to the next city. Instead of doing, okay, if I can't do this big thing is too big, so do a little thing. Oh, I can't get out of my house. Okay, so why don't you just go out into your car? Go right back. Hey, I survived. Go back into your car again. Okay, come back inside. See what I mean? If you can't do, oh, this thing is too big, fine. So do a little something, because check it out. You can have victory. You can win with small victories. It's not flashy. It's not, hey, look at me. But it's progress. And that's what matters. That's progress. Take a step. Don't set yourself up for failure by demanding nothing less than perfection. We oftentimes, especially people with anxiety, are perfectionists. This has to be perfect all the time, exactly like I want it to be. I can't have any mess ups. I have to do everything perfect. If I mess up, the whole day is a waste, the whole week is a waste, the whole year is a waste. I messed up on my year's resolutions, so I'm just going to give up. That's how we think. But the problem with that is that that's not helping. Don't set yourself up for failure by demanding nothing less than perfection. You have to allow for human failure, because you are human, so you will have failure. So remember this. Wars are won by small victories. Have a good day.